pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll call to order the public budget hearing to the treasurer. At this point, we request those present to identify themselves for the record for a public hearing. For anybody that has any questions in reference to the budget.
Any questions?
I don't think there's any public hearings been submitted, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, close the budget hearing at this point. Move on to our second agenda. Second agenda, this meeting will be called to order by President Pro Tem. We can pledge the flag, swearing in of the elected board members. So we do have a swearing in of the board members at this point in time.
Mr. Karen, Mr. Clark, Mrs. Williamson, we will have to do very quickly. Raise your hand and I do at the end.
There you go.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as members of the Board of Education of Columbiana Village School District, Columbiana County, to the best of your ability in accordance with the laws now in effect and herever to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, let's have a roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Here.
Mr. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Roncone?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Okay, moving on to adopt the agenda. Do I need a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion. I'll second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? And roll call.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 6, election of officers for 2018.
I'd like to make a nomination for Kelly Williamson for president. I'll second that nomination.
Discussion? And roll call.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number, well, we'll just continue with that same nomination, so for a vice president now.
Make a motion to nominate Mark Hudson for Vice President.
I'll second it. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Abstain.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll just continue through this, I guess. Item number 7, consider requiring that all resolutions of the board be numbered consecutively as they occur during the year. That's the motion. Sorry.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes. Motion passes. Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right. What's that? Who's going to switch around?
Turn it over as president.
Yeah. Yep, I'm out. All right. We're going to switch seats here.
In the absence of our newly elected president this evening, I get to do my first job as vice president, which is assume her position for the balance of this meeting. So here we go. We are now at item number 8, and I would like to consider the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Treasurer of the Columbiana Exempted Village Board of Education shall invest in all available funds of the said board at the most productive rate of interest as permitted by law. I have a motion for that. I believe Mr. Roncone, you made that motion, and Mr. Clark, you seconded that. Is that correct?
No, we were on the previous one when we did that. It's okay. I'll make the motion now.
Okay. On number 7.
Yeah, number 7 we finished. We're on number 8.
That's
You're making a motion for
Yeah, I'm making a
Okay.
motion for number 8.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. And number 9. Yeah, go ahead.
Make a motion to consider resolution on authorizing borrowing, whereas where there is an insufficient amount of money in the treasurer to meet the current monthly operating expenses of the school district, and whereas it is necessary to obtain funds from the source in order to meet the said deficiency then incurred, be resolved that the treasurer of the Columbiana Exempted Village School District, Columbiana County, Ohio, be authorized to borrow the necessary amount up to $100,000 from the bank that offers the most advantageous rate of interest per annum said loan to be solely made against anticipated receipts of property taxes and income tax exclusive of tangible personal property tax receipts, spending reserve, and said loan not to carry over the end of the current fiscal year, nor be made under any borrowing authority that may exist pursuant to the provisions of Section 133.301 of the Ohio Revised Code.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
And that motion passes. Item number 10.
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution authorizing the request of an advance of tax monies. Be it resolved that the Treasurer of Columbiana Exempted Village Board of Education is hereby authorized to secure advances of tax monies from the county auditor when funds are available and payable to the school district.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. Item number 11.
I'd like to make a motion to consider a resolution authorizing payment of bills. Be it resolved that the treasurer is hereby authorized to pay all bills when due within the limits of the appropriations.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. And that motion passes. Item number 12.
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution authorizing modification of appropriations. Be it resolved that the treasurer is hereby authorized to make necessary appropriation modifications to keep all the budgetary accounts in balance as the need arises.
Second that.
Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
And that motion passes. That brings us to item number 13.
I'd like to make a motion to consider a resolution designating depositories. Be it resolved that all banks that have an office in Ohio and that maintain FDIC insurance are designated as acceptable depositories for the Columbiana Exempted Village School District for the purpose of purchasing certificates of deposit.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? None. Hearing none. Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. And that motion passes. Brings us to item number 14.
I consider setting dates, make a motion to consider setting dates, times, and places of meetings for each regular meeting of the board for 2018 as listed below.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Roncone?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. And that motion passes. Item number 15.
I'd like to make a motion to consider a resolution establishing a service fund as provided by the Ohio Revised Code 3315.1. Be resolved that the service fund of the Board of Education of Columbiana Exempted Village School District be established at $4,000.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
That motion passes. Item number 16.
I'd like to make a motion considering establishment of rates of reimbursement for expenses incurred by a district employee unless established otherwise in a negotiated agreement while traveling on prior approved school business as follows. Mileage, IRS rate per mile, personal automobile use, other modes of travel, actual cost, meals, $30 per day max, lodging, $11 per day max if available. Reimbursements for meals and lodging shall be based on submission of original receipts for expenses less tax and tips.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. That motion passes. Item 17.
Make a motion to consider a resolution establishing the following petty cash fund, press revolving type petty cash fund in the amount of $100 cash with a disbursement not to exceed $50. Treasurer shall be the custodian of that fund.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. Motion passes. Item 18.
I'd like to make a motion to consider appointing Kathy Davies, treasurer, as designee for public record training for each board member and hereby directing her as such to attend public record training sessions on behalf of the board as required by law.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
That motion passes. Item 19.
I'd like to make a motion to consider a resolution authorizing the superintendent to hire staff between board meetings. Be it resolved to authorize the superintendent during periods when this board is not in session to make offers of employment directly to candidates for either teaching or non-teaching positions on behalf of this board, and to acknowledge acceptance of such offers on behalf of this board, subject to subsequent vote of ratification by the board, provided, however, that upon ratification by the board, the employee shall be deemed efficient as of the date and time of the employee's acceptance of the superintendent's offer. Nothing in this resolution shall require the Board of Education to employ or continue to employ an individual who has not provided a criminal records check satisfactory to the board, or who has not satisfied any other prerequisites to employment created by law or board policy. This authorization provided by this resolution shall commence on January 2018 and remain in effect through January 2019.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. Motion passes. Item 20.
Make a motion to consider a resolution authorizing the superintendent to accept resignations between board meetings. Be it resolved to authorize the superintendent on behalf of this board to accept resignations which have been submitted by employees during times when the board is not in session, subject to ratification by this board, provided, however, that upon ratification by this board, such resignations shall be deemed effective as of the date and time of the superintendent's acceptance. The authorization provided by this resolution shall commence on January 2018 and remain in effect through January 2019.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion?
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. Motion passes. Item 21.
I'd like to make a motion to consider a resolution authorizing purchasing agent. Be it resolved that the superintendent of the Columbiana Exempted Village School District is hereby authorized to act as the purchasing agent for the Board of Education.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 22.
I'd like to make a motion to consider a resolution authorizing the superintendent to make exceptions to policy 5113 relative to providing transportation accommodations corresponding with board-approved transportation routes to students living outside the school district boundaries.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 23.
I'd like to consider appointment of delegates and alternative to SBA annual conferences provided by bylaw 0153. Let's see here. There's Mark and Kelly. Delegate Mark Hudson. And also Kelly as an alternate. Okay. Kelly Williamson. Want to vote on each one?
I think we vote on the slate, don't we? We have a second on that. Mr. Ronco, did you second that?
Yes.
Actually, let's do it separately. Let's first vote on the delegate.
Should be you.
Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Abstain. That motion passes. All right, let's vote on the alternate. Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. And that motion passes. Item 24.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approving the fee schedule for the 2018 facility use per building use form provided with this agenda and exceptions to be made to fee schedule as authorized by the superintendent.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 25, can I have a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. That motion passes. That means we have adjourned the organizational meeting for 2018 of the Columbiana Exempted Village Board of Education. And that brings us to our regular meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt an agenda?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Motion passed. We have an agenda. Superintendent's report.
Okay, I'm going to flip-flop the webpage information and keep Clifford. Mandy Moore's here with her husband, and Kim Sharp's going to read a few things about our Clifford report.
After I go. Okay, I nominated Mrs. Mandy Moore for a Key Clipper Award. Mandy is the music teacher, art teacher, and also the literacy intervention teacher, level literacy teacher at Dixon. She wears many hats. Over the past several years, Mandy's efforts and output for our seasonal programs has been outstanding and continues to be more amazing every year. To quote Jay Groner, as he left our most recent grandparents' matinee, he said, "Her musicals are out of the norm." She does remarkable things to keep kids actively engaged. Another quote from Mrs. Miller, our secretary. She makes learning fun for kids. All of the extra things that she buys and plays and wears for the kids is awesome. Her performances teach kids dance, music, and theater context. In addition to her Veterans Day, holiday, and spring performances, she, and I need to take a big breath here, assists with the design of the master schedule. She's helped me probably for the past 10 years with the master schedule because it kind of affects her almost the most in the whole building. She helps teachers fall and spring level their students. She commentates our annual book parade, takes fourth graders Christmas caroling to Whispering Pines. She sees them to the symphony. She accompanies the high school choir. She helps me with our safety drills. She plans Right to Read Week. She does intramurals. She makes announcements. She handles discipline or dismissal whenever needed. She's planned both years for Joshua Dixon to participate and have a float in the Columbiana Christmas Parade. She hair paints at the Spring Fling. She plans the year-end talent show with students and staff. She's no longer allowed to play kickball, but she used to be our pitcher in the kickball game.
Yeah. I know, sorry.
Mandy brings the staff together. She builds team morale. She keeps spirits high. She continues to volunteer and make herself available to anyone needing her help. She involves her family in all that she does. And I just watch her and commend her for that. Her children are part of everything. They run the lights at our shows. They run the sound system at our shows. They run the iPad music at our shows. They're at everything. Do they make fun of their mom sometimes? I think they do. But when they walk away, I think what they're seeing is hard work, commitment, and passion, and how it pays off. And she's also very humble, because I said this morning, did you tell your family to come tonight? You can bring your family. This is a real honor. No, I didn't bother them with it. They're busy. So I called Leonard. They told me he needed to be here. So she's very humble as well. And it's my honor to recommend Mandy Moore for Key Clipper work. She's key to who we are and what we are. So I appreciate it.
Oh, wow. Do I have to talk?
You can.
Yes.
Oh,
It
thanks.
doesn't mind getting on the announcements at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, we do get up. Oh, yeah, you need to come at Halloween. That's the best time. There's a lot of people that go into something like this, so thanks to Kim. And to our administrators and to our other teachers that do a lot too. So it's a community effort, I think, especially at the elementary, because that's what we do. We all work together, and the floats and stuff. And good job, Jason. We're going to win next year. Anyway, so just thank you, and I'm glad that we have a community and a school system that can be stronger every year. And I think that that's what we're seeing. So I'm proud to be a part of it, and I think our kids are proud to be a part of it too. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we've been looking at web page design. Thank you, Mandy.
Oh, you're
For talking to.
okay.
You need somebody. Can they sneak out? They have
Yeah, absolutely.
other arrangements. So.
Any which way. We've been talking a little bit about some web page design and some different companies that could provide a different look to our web page. Up on the screen now is our current web page. It has served us tremendously over the years. I can't thank Jason enough for the time and the dedication that he puts into updating this. I think Jason would actually, and when we've been talking, would welcome some opportunity for some other ways to input and manage our web page a little bit. But in that, I'd just like Jason to kind of give you how did we get to this point with our current web page, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the different programs that Jason, Jeff, and Boone and I have spent some time looking at extensively.
Okay, about 3 years into my teaching career, we had the ability through Access on their Alpha server, they offered the ability to FTP files to their server so that we could have a basic web page. At that time, we had a district web page, and that was it. A couple years later, that morphed into a district, and then we had a building web page for each. And they gave teachers the ability to start uploading class websites. I happened to be the first, and so as a result, rather than me giving my floppy disk to the tech coordinator at the time, he said, why don't you just have Access, because you're in there more than anyone else, and if anyone else wants to update files, then they can just do it through you. And I guess 18 years ago, that's how I became involved with the web page. Fast forward a few years after that, I felt it was silly to FTP files. It would be nice to have an in-house server where we could back up our files and host them on our own. It wasn't necessarily a cost savings because Access offered the ability to host there, but the convenience of being able to, one, back up files on our own, and two, to set permissions so that different individuals would be able to access and edit, modify certain pages on our web page. That kind of gave us the option to more quickly build pages and update content on those pages to the point where you see what you see now with a number of drop-downs and a number of options of special education and a gifted and teacher pages. There was a time when every teacher had to learn how to use Dreamweaver and update their pages using that software. And I don't know, I'm guessing 5 or 6 years ago, we became a Google, Access became a Google. Google was an option, so Google Sites made it much easier for teachers to go in and update teacher pages from home, where before if we had let's say a blizzard bag situation, they had to actually drive to school to update their page and then drive back home. So we've come a long way from our floppy disk FTPing to Access, but now there are a number of different opportunities out there as far as content management systems to make sure that your website looks continuous throughout the entire web page, to ensure that we're compliant with state and federal laws as far as making sure that it's handicap accessible and so forth. So there are a lot of tools out there now, and I learned quite a bit through our vendors. Some have taken the ADA compliance a lot more serious, and there are a lot more tools available in order to ensure that everybody has equal access to the information that we want to provide as a district or as a building or as a department. So that, I guess, is a quick snapshot.
So fast forward to today, so ADA compliance has become a serious enough issue for lots of school districts that we're really honing in on trying to make sure we're compliant. I think Jason's done a nice job of trying to make sure we're where we need to be, but it is almost a full-time job to be webmaster and tech coordinator in addition to being principal. So we're looking at this already as something. What do we want to do? Do we want to move to it? Do we want to begin an annual cost to host a web page? And thinking about these things, and then actually a couple of our board members initiated some other conversation, which really kind of builds into what some of the newer content management programs are out there right now. So the three main people that we've been in contact with have been eSchool View, and I gave you some handouts on these. eSchool View sent us their pricing. We did go through, now we had about 2 hours in going through programs with each one of these vendors. So I'm trying to give you a snapshot of it because you certainly don't want to spend a couple hours talking about these web pages. So I gave you some of the handouts that they sent to us. eSchool View just basically sent us the pricing sheet. Blackboard essentially did the same with the cover sheet. And then School Point a little bit more intense as to what some of these things are in terms of the methodology, what they're doing, what's each one of these, the designs they have available, some of their content features, which most of these all have, except they all come with different prices. And they all come with a little bit different look. So School Point, their main page kind of gives you an idea where you can kind of jump in and look at the content management system and see what their support is in training. So I encourage you to on your own, take a look at the main web pages. Here is a school district that uses School Point. you know, and this is a custom design for them. And each one of these are going to have templates available, and those templates are going to have different features within them. This one, they have these markers on the side to give them opportunities, which you don't see in a lot of different web pages. A vast majority of them now have this picture screen at the initial page that kind of advertises what they're doing in their buildings and districts at times. So you're seeing that as it changes. And as you scroll down, you'll see some different features in each. And you can see, here's where those pictures all change right here. Very professional look. The events are in here, some opportunities for video and whatnot. This is what this district chose as their template. Chagrin Falls. Again, somewhat similar. You'll see that they have these little bullets down below that changes over time. You know, every couple of minutes, every couple of seconds, it goes to a new one and says a little bit about what they want the environment of their district to be about. And this one, they've chosen this template that has these boxes here that you choose to put what information you want and then organize it as such. Okay. Again, with a lot of the drop downs that exist, similar to our page as you see it. Columbus City, to me, is probably of the couple fairly basic. You can see how they have decided to use a template to organize how they want their web page to look. And one more school point, Wapakoneta, again, very similar look. This scrolls through different pictures of what happens in their district, and then they have some district news and calendars with their drop-down menus available here for looking for different spots to their web page. You can see some similarities in ours, other than as you go to ours is a little bit more plain. As you see it, kind of jumps out a little bit differently. It doesn't have the top drop downs. It's a little bit different layout. Again, one of these that Jason over time has morphed to make work for the way we need to do what we need to do. Probably, if I were to say, school point when you get to dollars versus functionalities, probably a little bit, you'll find a little bit more economical. Next, eSchool View. eSchool View, if you go to their main page, you can get an idea that how they set up their content management system. They have some different things for you to choose from. Some of the things that we're looking at are also online forms from each of the companies. Online forms will help us streamline all the documentation that we do. We're not completely through the form process. Each of the form processes is almost like its own entity within the content management. So I know that Access has set up some contacts with us for eSchool View for their form program. Their form program is really its own separate standalone system that can function and integrate into whichever web page company we decide to go with. However, each of these companies all have sort of their own flavor of how they do their forms. So we're going to do, we have some more investigation, I think, to do, because I think functionality and integration is going to be simpler if we're able to go with one company for all facets of that particular process. Instant Connect is sort of our school cast right now. So eSchool View has a very high-end program for connected to messages like phone messages like we do for school call-outs currently. They are able to push out notifications not only through their app, but through the phone, the text, and like we're doing with Schoolcast. All three companies have a very nice app each of them have sort of their own flavor, and I'll get to blackboards in a moment, but blackboards we've kind of found was most teacher-friendly. Blackboard, unfortunately, after 3 companies, is the most highest price, and you know, I don't know how much room there is for negotiation on that price, and that's something that we're going to have to visit if we're really going to encourage going towards Blackboard. But the content management system here, you know, we went and visited a couple of their sites. I don't have their sites with me. I asked Boone to send a couple to me, but he did not have eSchool Views pages. We saw those in the PowerPoint presentation we received over the internet. Blackboard's probably, in my opinion, one of the nicer of the 3 for the reason of its functionality with the app and for teacher changing in pages, teacher functionality within the app. The app is in Blackboard is just so much further advanced than any of the other 3 that we've seen. So we have to determine what is it that we want to get out of the app. We'll get push notifications from all 3. Essentially eSchool View, and as I was talking to School Point today on the phone, talking about their app, you go on to iTunes or whatever, the App Store from Droids or whatnot, and download the app. And then you download the app, and then essentially what it is your web page sort of functionality in terms of mobile. So the nice part about all of these is in our belief, is you can sign up for the things that you want to be informed about. So if you're a Dixon parent and you don't want inundated with all of the athletic things, you can sign up just for Dixon notifications. Southside Middle School, if your kids are all in the high school and you only want just what's going on at the high school, you can drill down to just get the information that you're looking for, and not get notification after notification after notification from us. So if Mrs. Sharshan pushes out messages that are really for Joshua Dixon Elementary, the high school parents that don't have elementary students aren't going to get inundated with those notifications. So all 3 really have that nice functionality.
But all these websites are adaptive, right? Adaptive websites, right?
Yes. You mean in terms
So
of
reactive and adaptive, right? No, reactive and adaptive websites. So in other words, when they go in, I understand the app, and I understand those things with the app and things like that, but the reality is most people, they don't get into these apps. They use them to play games and all this garbage, but the reality is they spend 70% of the time on their phones, so they won't use a PC. 70% of the people will use a handheld device in order to go onto the website. So when they go onto that particular website, it should be adaptive, so where it converts over, right, from...
Yes, they all 3 are. Yes.
So it's adaptive website, right?
So it's mobile, basically.
And if you go into your internet, your web, whatever, if I go into the web part of my phone, I can pull up the web page as it exists.
And it adapts over to the phone. Or you can choose to have the same way it is.
Adapts from the web page, yes.
All right. So, but what you're saying is with the app, these parents can sign up for notifications and things like that and all that stuff, right?
So they can customize it to what they want to receive on all 3?
Yes. That's one of the questions that we were asking is the functionality of the app. The nice part about Blackboard's app is, boy, it really integrates right now with our Dazzle, which is our report card system, that we don't get that with the other 2 apps. The other 2 apps are really accessing our web page. The Blackboard one gives parents all the access that they would get with Progress Book or things along the lines that would associate with classroom connectivity with staff, one-to-one messaging back and forth between teacher and parent through the app.
But they can do that through the website too, right? Yes.
No, I'm talking about Blackboard now. I'm talking about Blackboard. Blackboard, the functionality of Blackboard and communication with teachers was far more extensive than any of the other two. The other two were really about information, us pushing information, them being able to access things that they would access from our webpage. The Blackboard piece of this allows them to it integrates with Dazzle. Dazzle is the reporting piece that we use for report cards to create scheduling. They can pull up schedules, they can pull up students' information.
Student fees,
It goes all the way down to
Cafeteria.
cafeteria balance on Blackboard.
Well, listen,
library.
the biggest thing with the biggest things with these websites and these apps and things like that, listen, we're thinking that this is all great stuff and the content is all great, but simple is easy and easy is simple.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that a parent is going to get on that app and all this garbage go back and forth, we all got to be out of our mind. You know what I do? I throw my phone against the wall. Okay?
That might be you, Mr. Karen, but Mr. Roncone, on the other hand, he's I mean, both Mr.
I understand this. I understand the interaction of all this and things like that. I'm just saying and listen, I've looked into a lot of apps and things like that, and for different businesses and things like that. And the reality is these notifications. How many people have the Weather Channel? You ever get all those things that keep on blowing across your phone from the Weather Channel, and you're like, would this thing just shut up, my phone, right? And it just, what happens is when you get so much content that it starts firing at you so much, pretty soon you just shut down and go, I'm not interested. Basic is simple, simple is basic, and it's easier to look at those things and for the consumer to go in and find quickly on a web page. And I understand the apps, and maybe that's a discussion we got to have, but the reality is all these people are trying to sell these apps and things like that, but as you read about apps, and Mr. Roncone can maybe attest to a lot of this, but this app thing is like a thing that went like this, and it's going like this now. That's what's happening. Because people don't want to be bothered with all that garbage anymore. They want to get to where they're going, they want to get there quick, they want to understand where they're going, and find the information quickly. That's it. And they want to know things, but they don't want to be overwhelmed.
I'll just throw a comment out, because I have kids in college right now, that all the colleges that my kids go to all have apps for the phones. I never go to the website. Only because I have this thing in my hand.
So you use the app?
You use the apps?
I use the apps all the time.
Okay.
Because I can pull it up, I can see the bus schedule, I can see the students' schedule, I could see their... I can still go to the website. But when I just want to look at something quick, either I've been notified or I want to check something, I'm usually not in front of a computer.
Right.
And that, maybe I'm sitting at the doctor's office and something, oh, I wonder if so-and-so happened. I pull it up.
That makes sense.
And
I guess one thing I would look at is, I'm not going to look necessarily at most of the board members as, gee, we're representative of all the parents in the district. Unfortunately, I think I've aged out of that. So, at this point, I would look at some of the young teachers in the room, and I'll leave that name nameless at this point, but let me ask you this. Younger teachers, are you more likely to use your phone and use apps, and you're maybe more technologically adept than some of us, and you can shut off all those push notifications you don't want, and in fact, you shut them off so that you do get the content you want, but you're not getting all the garbage that those of us that don't turn anything off keep getting.
Yeah, I think if you're able to modify and customize what you want, then I think the app is great. I mean, there's free apps that you get, then you have to buy it for 99 cents or $1 that you can get in that customize.
So it lets you basically customize to what you want.
Yeah, like what he was saying, whatever the Blackboard would be, it would be customized to if a high school you know, a parent has a high school students, they would only get high school things. So you'd be able to modify and cut off all the Dixon stuff, all that.
And you can actually take it a step further that if you have a senior, you're only getting information about senior things, senior trips, scholarships. So you can kind of hone down what you're interested in. I think that it's evident just based on a couple of our board members that you're not going to have a one-size-fits-all. Some people are going to prefer it one way over another.
Right.
The beauty of Blackboard is its content management system is powerful enough that you update the information in one location, and it's going to both of those individuals regardless. So if you prefer the app, it's in the app. You know, it's going to put that information. If you prefer, you go on the website. As far as calendar events and so forth, right now, if there's a middle school and elementary calendar event, I have to put it on the district webpage, then I go on to Kim's, and then I go on to the middle school so that everybody sees it. Here you put it one place, you check, I want it to go to district, middle school, and Dixon, and it just broadcasts to the individuals that have signed up for that.
So they all have it's easier for you guys to work with, and as far as administrators, whoever's putting things out there, for the parents, it's pretty easy for them to customize if they want to use the app, and it gives you more information.
Blackboard's going to give you the most information because it integrates with Dazzle. So it's going to be able to pull schedules that you wouldn't get from the other two. And when you can pull schedules, then you can pull grades, you can pull...
You're saying who pull? The
Parents.
Parents, there you go.
Yeah. Now you'd have to, obviously, with parent access, you'd be able to, you would do like you would do on the web page, but you access parent access, except differently here. You'd have to have a password and a username in order to get into that information.
Okay.
So you'd have to be seeking that out.
Yeah, I like that.
I think as a parent, I mean, like even looking like at their grades, I can't go from their grades to look at the teacher's webpage to see what's due and what's not due. I have to then log back out right now, or not log out, but go into the teacher's pages and find out what their assignments are for that week and stuff. So, I mean, it'd be nice if those all linked together.
So the downside, though, with Blackboard is cost, because we steered away from these diamond made-to-order designs because they were $15,000 to $25,000 just to set up.
Just the design.
Yeah, just the design, not to implement it, not to post it, nothing.
That's crazy.
But ready-to-made-order ones are like the other groups. And if you look at some of these, they're very similar to School Point and eSchool View. You know, but they're set up a little differently. They seem to be a little bit more old school to me than what I see from School Point or eSchool View. They're boxes, they're set up like this, they're not nearly as appealing, although they all have these, which is easy to do.
And Heroes, they call them Hero slots, so they just rotate through.
Yeah. You get these on almost any site these days.
Right.
You know, so this is a custom-made one, but even the custom-made one, they went with some of the very standard squares and boxes and whatnot.
And so these are all measurable too. So each tab and each space on that web page, it should be able to be measured based on the click-throughs on those specific things and the percentages of when those people are using those blocks. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, most of the sites have data analysis, so he's talking about,
Right.
so who's going where, how many
So we can
parents are
see-
going into the schedule system versus
Right.
grade system.
So we can see what's the most popular. So the most popular would be the things that we want to integrate easily to get to.
Just from the tech side, and Mr. Martin can sure confirm this, the more difficult it is for the teachers and the in-house staff to keep the information up, the less likely that it's current, and the less likely I am to use it, because when I go look, it's not current. And as a parent or an end user, I'm going to take path of least resistance. If it's something I can pull up on my phone because I'm out somewhere, I'm going to pull it up. If I have to type a lot, I want to sit in front of the computer because I don't want to type one finger on the... So if the system integrates with the information that we're already putting in, then it'll stay up to date.
Yep.
That's the biggest hassle with everybody's websites. But then that means you're more database driven, data driven to tie into existing systems, and it's more costly. But the end result is a higher product, which is we want to try to communicate with our parents and have them be able to access the information that we're trying to put in their hands and do it easily.
So there's like email blasts that we can do over that once they sign up, correct?
Not necessarily. Some have notification systems built in. eSchoolView has, and it costs money. It's extra. So let me show you these. All right, so our current Clipper page is costing us really nothing. We use Schoolcast, which is our emergency notification system, which will give us an email blast or give us a phone call, a phone message, or text message. And that's the cost behind it. Okay? That being said, moving to eSchoolView, they have a fee for website, web design, and hosting. Probably the least expensive in terms of hosting. But their forms program is one of the ones that's eSchoolView.
That's eSchoolView.
Let me make that bigger. I apologize. I didn't like that bigger. Sorry. Okay.
All right, so this is eSchoolView we're looking at
So
now?
eSchoolView has probably the lowest annual cost. So this column here, E, is annual cost. Column C is 7. So it's going to cost us about $8,400 to go with eSchoolView if we want both the forms program, the mobile app, and their instant connect, which they're not charging us for a setup fee for that. Because I told them I have Schoolcast now, and that's what it cost me, so they matched it. Otherwise, it was a higher cost. It was another I don't know, maybe 1,000 to 2,000 more. Right now, Access and a lot of the schools that are working through Access is looking very seriously at eSchoolView for the forms piece. So you could break some of this out. This is a consortium price that they're giving us, $49.37 for a setup for eSchool Form.
What is that, like eSchool Form?
So right now, when we register students, everything we do is paper.
Right.
This is going to change that format to go online. So if we have a parent come in, we'll put them in front of a computer and have them be able to fill out the forms online. Or they can go ahead and do it from home. Currently, all forms are filled out on paper.
Beginning of the year,
Yeah,
when every student has
emergency medical.
pages to go on with.
Right.
So all of those will be done online.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a one-time setup of $4,000 some dollars, right?
right there, correct.
And then moving across, that's how much it is per year?
Per year, annual maintenance to continue to run. Now, I don't know, again, I don't know what the room is on negotiation. Headlocks, I don't know if it's going to work. They send in different guys for that. So ADA compliance, there's no setup, but it's going to cost us $1,500 a year to monitor ADA compliance. So you're looking at about $10,000 a year to host a web page through eSchoolView. Currently, we pay this.
Well, that's reality though.
Well,
Most of those pages, I mean, it's,
School Point,
so it's what, 800 or something, $700?
School Point has an additional $17.50 if we want a custom web page for them. On top of, it's not factored into the $6,000, on top of the $37.75. So if I go back and I'll show you this one, what was this one? Shaker Heights. So this was a custom made for them. They have these buttons created on the side of their page you don't see in a lot of different places. So that's a one-time fee to do some custom work that they'll have somebody work with you to customize templates to fit your needs.
Can't they just duplicate that and pull it over?
I don't know if they'll do that. They're in the business of making money, but we could always ask them.
Oh, we're going to give them.
So their initial setup fee for the design and hosting is $37.75, and the annual is $49.38. Online forms. So Formality is the name of their company for forms. I don't know of anybody using Formality right now, so we're investigating that a little bit more. In talking to the girl today, they would waive the Formality setup fee if we went with them and we bought the app. Now the app is a $1,500 setup fee, but no annual fee.
Right.
Because it's a one-time, they create it, they put it out in the app store, and it's done, and then all it does with School Point is modify to a usable format.
It doesn't have all the Dazzle integration.
It gives you the mobile view.
It just takes your website, scales it to your phone. It doesn't have all of the other.
It turns it into an app.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without
No functionality.
without the integration.
It's not the same.
Right,
Yeah. It's truly not an app.
right. It's an app that shows your webpage.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Exactly.
Okay, so Blackboard. So if you wanted a custom page, it was anywhere, and I heard the girl, I don't know, maybe no one else did. I thought I heard her say $60,000 once, and I just cringed.
For the platinum,
Platinum,
the platinum diamond custom design. Yeah.
So,
We asked for the cardboard design. How much would that cost?
so if you go with a template they already have, website design and hosting, and the initial setup is $49.70, and then it's $5,400 a year. The mobile app setup is $58.81, $61 a year. Now, that does include training. So I don't know if there are annual trainings, but that does include the training, and I think there's going to be a significant amount of training with the teacher app for staff to use, because their app is way more robust. And then that mobile app's $2,500 a year to maintain and any training that's necessary. Notification service that they have is $29.21 and then $15.75 a year to keep going. An ADA compliance tool is $16.66 for the first time, and then $4,000 a year for them to monitor and maintain. So, you know, the last thing the girl from Blackboard left us after a 2.5-hour session was that if price is a problem, we could come back and talk. Price is a problem for them if that becomes where we're honing in on. So, long story short is this: we're in the middle of negotiating with 3 companies right now. We think we're going to narrow down to one of these 3 and try and make the best decision overall. Listen, all of us want to drive a Cadillac. I don't know if that's necessarily where we need to be. So we're going to try and do the best we can with making sure we're fiscally sound on the decision and getting the best bang for our dollar. Now, if that means we're going to an app that's less functional but does the things that we need, that pushes out notifications, that gets that information, that allows people to see our webpage on an app, that may be where we're at. But
So what's the first choice? Blackboard?
we don't have a first choice yet. I think if you talk to Jeff, Jeff really loved the teacher portion of this. I think we all did.
In the app.
In the app.
Blackboard.
So Don and Jeff, or even Mr. Martin, have we done a functional analysis to say what exactly feature function-wise, what we do want? I mean, I understand you got some vendors and you brought them in to look at all the features. It's like, I don't think that we could answer Scott's question.
I think we're still determining which is more important to us right now.
All three companies offer,
Yeah, price has always driven everything we do in this industry and education. So when we saw price tags from Blackboard, we were a little sticker shocked at first. And I think because we're going from paying nothing right now to a reoccurring cost, that causes us concern on where we're headed.
I need to start a new company. I'm going to call it Chalkboard. Right? Design school websites. Holy smokes. Called Chalkboard. Huh? Is there
Anybody want to add to that?
Do they
We
really?
want to make a change in Blackboard. I mean, we want to really do something different in Blackboard.
Comes with cost.
To Blackboard. And second is what?
Mine?
Yeah.
Stay with what we have. Blackboard is a real change. I mean, these other ones, there's some advantages to it from, that's just, I wasn't there for the whole thing every time. Blackboard really changes what we, it's a whole new ballgame with Blackboard. Now, Jay should agree with it.
I would agree with that, and I think the companion app with Blackboard just blows the others away. They all do different things really well. Some have really taken ADA compliance seriously. Some have really ran with the app. One of them, the forms, is better than everyone else's, but then the app's not as good. So there's kind of a trade-off with each one of them. Blackboard, the thing that's really nice about Blackboard is the user-friendly aspect of it for teachers. You know, as far as what Tony said, he hit it right on the head. If it's difficult for them to update, it's not going to get updated often. And if it's not updated often, people are going to quit going to it because they're not getting the information that they need. So I think Blackboard in many ways offers a number of the things that we're looking for. But as far as a rubric of prioritized items, what's the most important to us, I think that would be different for everybody in the room.
And it is.
So
It's interesting, like, I think it was a useful view that they really honed in on their forms. I think that's what it was. But as Mr. Book mentioned, that same form bundle could be coming down the pike to us through access we already use.
That $4,900.
Right, but that's all the card piece.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they kept selling.
Well, that's
So
what
they were kind of selling the forms with, in my mind, they were selling the forms package with the website that came with it.
Yeah, they're going to make money that way.
So-
And I think what kind of came up was, Tony brought up a little bit about the work that the users have to do, the customer-friendly part. Like our current website, to go on it and find some stuff, we talked about this, you got to do some working and searching. Okay, granted, one of these new websites, to customize it so it works for you, the parent still has to do some, they have to get rid of this or get rid of, I mean, there's still some work at that point for them to get what they really want, what works for them and what's feasible for them. So that where the work is kind of changed. If the parent, we get something new and they do away with Dixon's announcements or whatever, so they customize it, but they're only getting the information they want. That's where they're doing their work, as opposed to now, we're going to go to the website, it's just one website, and then they got to hunt for this form or whatever, which we talked about in our meeting. It's like, are the parents going to do the work at this point and make this really customer
Well,
friendly?
the ideal website is when a consumer goes to a website, they should be able to find what they're looking for within 3 to 4 clicks. That's it. And if they can't find it within 3 to 4 clicks, they're pissed off and they move on. So the idea is as we take our school district and continue with what we're doing with even open enrollment, because open enrollment is an important part of our financial, right, status, is to make it simple and easy for the consumer to go in, find what they're looking for quickly, and make a determination based on what they've seen. So it's truly about sales, because we're selling our district. In addition to taking care of the consumers and the parents and students in our district currently. We're also here to attract students also to this particular district because of the financial, things that the wonderful state has done. But when that website is user-friendly, it's easy for a consumer to get on there. And then, like I said before, in Google, once we complete it, it's done correctly, and Google rates us high. Believe it or not, when they start searching, and that consumer starts searching for school districts, like within the 3-county area and those things like that, those keywords that we can use to push our website, it will be huge if it's set up right. It will be huge.
And we thought about maybe getting some parents together to even discuss what they want, in the website. What features do they use?
Yeah, what do they use? That's a
What are they
great
searching
idea.
for? What's the most thing that they would like to see?
And see, we talk about, you folks, as teachers and things like that, and I understand that. But the other aspect is those parents and students that use that website or have the chance to use it. It's important that I think that we get the views from those individuals, that if we're going to do a website, a great website, that we get the views from those individuals to help us with the things that they're going to use. Because everybody offers in any business all kinds of stuff. The reality is how much of everything that they're offering us are we going to use? And usually it's about 20 to 25% is all that's going to be used. The rest of it is all just gingerbread that's out there. And it looks good.
So Mike, would you think maybe pushing out a survey out to parents?
Yeah, survey, or even getting a core group of parents from each school that you can identify and sit down and talk to, say, hey, what are the features that you want to see when you go to the website? Or do you use the app? What would you want to see in the app?
And I think you need to also educate the parents as to here's what's out there.
Here's what we're thinking, here's what's out here.
And I guess one other question I have, is this the same Blackboard company that the state uses?
Why should you use?
Yeah, so when I go on their website, you can take tests, you can do all these different things, correct? Yeah.
I think you can, I'm going to be honest with you, I think you can do all the things that you need to do from the web page standpoint, from any of the 3 sources.
Right.
The difference is the app functionality for us and the forms. So, if you ask my office staff what they're going to want forms that are going to create an easier life for them to manage this stuff. If you're going to ask teachers what they're going to want the app that's going to allow them to be a little bit easier communication wise. So, okay. I burned you up enough on that. We're still working on it. Obviously it's not something that we're going to, why don't we get 2 hours? Maybe we can take about 6.5 hours, 7 hours we spent in a couple of different days trying to go through this, but we're still working on it. I wanted to present the information. I know we're going to keep working at it. I think we're going to solidify some information from staff and from parents, and then we'll work to maybe get a small committee to review it and go from there.
Yeah, principals, maybe the principals in their school, in their buildings, they can get some parents together, right? Doesn't matter, and get their input. Let's get some of their inputs and see. That way we can truly see the vision of what they're looking for too. Let's make it great, like we've done everything else. That way we can lead it.
Main thing to keep in mind with all of these is you're buying a content management system and hosting. Not one of these solutions without an exorbitant fee brings all of your old information over into your new website. So there's still a build process, figuring out menus, permissions for who updates each of those pages. So it's not we make a decision, we buy it, and they're going to do all that legwork for us. We have a lot of deciding to do after the fact.
So, but that's included within this, correct?
No, they don't move your
So
data.
they don't move your content?
One of them for $11,000 would.
They're not going to do our content.
Yeah.
So we have to move the content.
What's important?
There is some training, since Blackboard seems to have all kinds of bells and whistles, shall we say. There's a lot more training involved with it.
Yes.
Okay.
And the cost I have listed here has, and you have a more detailed cost packet from each of them. So you're going to be able to break it down a little differently. I was trying to lump them a little bit together to give you a quick look at what final cost would be and really give you some slots as to what that represented. To try and make an apples to apples comparison, which really you cannot, because you can't get a comparison between each of the entities in terms of dollars and cents, because the forms piece in each school view is so much more superior. The app in Blackboard is so much more superior. So you're getting a lot of different variables there that don't show on this paper.
So Don has to go back to we need a needs analysis. Typically, if you put in this kind of project, you go and you scan all the top vendors and you get all the features and functions and you know what's out there. But then you have to go down and compare that so that everybody has a list of everything that's available and then determine what's important or what we don't want. Because then at the end of the day, whether you're a school or a bank or a manufacturing company, it's a cost benefit. Whatever we're doing, is it worth the cost? And then we have to answer as administration or a board, is it worth the cost?
We're going to put those pieces together. We're going to try and get some, I'm going to try and solidify some PowerPoint presentations that can be done internally with small groups and with our staff, and we'll go from there. We'll try and identify what the most important pieces are for that. Okay, sorry I took an awful lot of time, but that's all for my report.
Okay, that brings us to principal reports.
Okay, my principal's report is in board share. I'm not going to sit and go through it because I do have a small presentation tonight. I do want to highlight just a handful of things. One, the preliminary fall scores came in for the fall administration of the ELA for the state test, and 91% of our third graders received a 44 or better, which promotes them to fourth grade at the end of the year. The 7 students that did not fall within that range, I will be administering the Terra Nova in the spring to give them another opportunity, and they'll also have the spring opportunity for the testing. But I was really proud of everybody. That's a K2 test, so it's given in third grade at the beginning of third, but it takes it up to the end of second grade. The other thing I want to highlight on, one, we're up for a preschool unannounced state visit/audit. That should be coming any time now. Our after-school enrichment program begins January 16th. And one main thing I wanted to also bring to your attention in my report is Jacob Lawton runs Beaver Creek Candles. It's called Employment Development Incorporated. They donated $2,000 to the Oasis Food Pantry, earmarked specifically for the Dixon Backpack Program. So I thought that was really amazing, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And lastly, as part of my report, I asked Tyler Best to come. And one of the things that Tyler started doing, which I think is a little bit outside the box, and I was really proud of it, is he came probably a month ago, maybe more than a month, about a month and a half ago. Some parents were struggling with our new Go Math, as were some of our staff. We're also having a training this Friday, as a matter of fact, for early release. But the conceptual pieces of math now and how you don't learn it like we used to learn it. You know, you try and help your kids with homework, it gets frustrating. So he took it up on himself to do, on his website, he has a little, it's not called a blog, but...
Yeah, I just uploaded, I have 7 total videos, but just to my webpage, I uploaded, and I got help from Mr. Martin and Mr. Motor setting the access so anyone on the internet can go to the pages and watch them as many times as possible.
And he's gotten lots of good feedback from parents. You know, at night it's difficult to do homework for this lesson, so they can log on to his website. If you wanted to go to Dixon and then go to teacher pages,
They're on my cousin's page, but it's what we're going to do that. Actually, I just kind of...
and then if you go to his teacher page,
Third. Then on the left side, if you just go to educational videos, the third link down. It should load up. Yes, I broke this. I have 7 so far, but I mean the 7th one's better than the first one. So I learned how to move the board closer. No, but I go through and one of the chapters has to do with multiplication properties, and the way it goes through Go Math, it's very high order, and I try to break it down much smaller. So
Here, audio.
but each video, I think I had one video that was 4 minutes, one was 10 or 11. And I try to just break down, like this one, I was breaking each property down and how you do each property. So the kids and the parents can watch it at home, they can watch it over the weekend, so my grandparents can watch it. Because even when they come and do the homework, I remember the first time we gave away homework, there was like a spiral review section at the end of the homework. And I got several, emails, and I had to remind them saying that, we had parents saying that we didn't understand what estimating was around. And I'm thinking, wow, it's like, I just thought, I was assuming that you knew what estimated rounding, but I'm thinking, well, I should probably make some, some educational videos that kind of break down the Go Math system, because it tends to be on the higher end, especially when you go through the entire system. So I found it a little bit easier for the
that's
parents
one
to
thing
watch,
about the
so.
Go Math. I think it is more higher level. It ties in that problem solving, but brings in that critical thinking piece, and some of the kids need it broken down even further. Actually, some of the parents need it broken down a little more. So I just thought that was pretty neat, thinking outside the box. I didn't ask him to do it. He just came and showed me one day. So I just, wanted you to see some of the things that the teachers are doing.
Yeah, I kind of had the idea, and I had it as a mind app, and I just kind of gave a poll, said if I were to create videos of how we're doing math, what would you like? And I got responses really quickly. Back like, it'd be awesome to do that same way.
That's
Start trying to make it.
This is awesome.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
That's seeing is believing. That's really good.
Show it on the iPhones.
Yep, that's killer. So how many videos do you have up? 6 or 7?
There's 7 on there right now. As I get better at it, I kind of plan to do more than just math. I'd like to incorporate some English language arts and stuff like that.
You posted those on Google, on Yahoo, or
No, they're just on the page right now. Like anyone can access them, because I set the access to anyone on YouTube. But I could put them on YouTube. I didn't.
Oh, you did.
So I got good response.
Good job.
Thank you, Tyler. And that ends my report. Thank you.
Columbiana Middle School Clipper Pride Report. January 12th, this Friday, we have our 2-hour early release. We're going to have special education meeting, gifted training, science accelerated meeting. We really need to work on how we're going to better service our gifted science students in the future with a science acceleration plan, and a social studies curriculum collaborative meeting on that day. Spelling Bee is February 5th. And in your board agenda, you'll see the itinerary for the Washington, D.C. trip for 8th grade this year. The dates for that is May 10th through the 12th. That's a change. In the past, 8th graders have gone to New York, at least in the recent past. I had a talk with Mrs. Baylor about possibly looking at some different alternatives that might be, 1, more cost-effective for parents, 2, a trip that's a little more closely aligned with the 8th grade standards, and 3, maybe not New York because they have the opportunity to go there as seniors. So she had some student meetings and parent meetings, and they came up with a Washington, D.C. trip. And I think if you look through that itinerary, you'll be pretty happy with what the students are going to do and be able to do on that trip. So academics round 2 observations will begin soon. We're ironing out finishing touches for our spring testing schedule. And I'm currently working with Mr. Buzzard and Mrs. Sharshin on the master schedule as far as shared staffing for the upcoming year and what we're going to offer. 3-hour late arrival on February 27th. We have county support to cover data analysis specific to value added. We're also going to have some philosophical discussions regarding homework. What's the purpose of homework? Is it for a grade? Just some meaningful discussions regarding what we're doing and how we do it. Clipper Pride, noteworthy accomplishments. Congratulations to our December Students of the Month. 5th grade Haley Smith and Aiden Boyer. 6th grade Vivian Jeffries and Alex Eusebio. 7th grade Carly Hamilton and Colin Snyder. And 8th grade Riley Lockwood and Trevor Deering. It's really nice to get to meet with some of these amazing students and read all of the things that the teachers are saying about them, both what they're doing in the classroom and outside of the classroom. Also, congratulations to Columbiana Middle School's Geography Bee winner John Rhodes, 7th grade, and runner-up Maddie Stimson in 8th grade. John Rhodes will now take an online test to potentially qualify for the state competition. He was super excited that he won. He actually ran down to the office with his medal and said, "You're going to want to get a selfie with me and post it on Instagram." So he was really excited about his Geography Bee accomplishment. Winter sports, basketball season's well underway. Things are going well. 5th grade team, we actually had 2 5th grade girls teams in the JG ITCL, and they brought home the 1st and 2nd place trophy. 5th grade also brought home the 7th annual shootout championship trophy. 7th grade, both 7th and 8th grade boys are having a winning season currently. 7th grade girls are 5-1, and our 8th grade girls are 7-0. Really amazing to watch all of those groups of students. And we have 2 new 8th grade students joining us on Tuesday to start the 2nd semester. And we're excited to invite them to our Clipper family. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. January good news report. Columbiana High School, it's in board chair. Proud to announce some winnings, some notifications. First, Clipper Athletics. The 2017 Columbiana Clipper football squad received the prestigious Academic All-Ohio Football Award. Ohio High School Football Coaches Association recognized the 2017 Clipper football team for their outstanding academic grade point average, included with their athletic excellence, which was a playoff run. Congratulations to Coach Spade, his staff, and obviously the players for not only having a great football season, but having one of the highest GPAs in the state of Ohio. Continuing on, the speech and debate team, we received notification that the National Speech and Debate Association has named the Columbiana Clipper chapter that has earned more than 100 degrees. I guess a degree is a point you earn in speech and debate. During last year's speech and debate season, this total of over 100 degrees ranked our chapter in the top 21% of schools in the nation and earned our membership in the prestigious 100 Club, which is the top 100 speech and debate teams in the nation. Great job to Ms. Nord and the members of last year's speech and debate team on that award. Congrats to the band and choir for successful winter concerts which were held in December. Great turnouts. I think the highlight was the choir. This is the 2nd year they did it. For their last song, asked the audience to join in, come up on stage, get up on the risers. The stage was filled, and they did the Hallelujah chorus. Not only the choir, but the audience as well. Additionally, I'd like to announce Mr. Miller announced when he returned from Christmas vacation that the Columbiana Clipper Band has received a commissioned song. The commissioned song is a song that was written for the Columbiana Band. The song is entitled Agent 54. I'll probably get either next meeting or the following meeting, I'll give you a more detailed story, but somehow Agent 54 deals with Joshua Dixon, founding Columbiana or whatever, I don't know, it's a historical piece. But this song will be played for the first time ever. It's our song, never been played before, written for us at the spring concert. So Mr. Miller is really excited about it. We have our own song which we'll be debuting in our spring concert. But great job, Mr. Miller. He's walking on a cloud that we were able to pull this off. And we spent a lot of time talking about the web pages. Maybe I missed it, whatever, but I'd like to thank Josh Boone for his work setting up all that. He had to do all the legwork to set up the webinars, and I know it's probably a little tedious for him, but he did a great job setting that up for us to be able to come in and communicate with these companies. So I'd like to point out a great job by him. And that is the high school report for this month.
Thank you very much. Public input. Doesn't look like we have any. Moving on to item number 5. I don't think we need an executive session at this point. Item number 6.
Make a motion to consider approving the minutes of the December 12th, 2017 regular meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. That motion passes. Item number 7.
To make a motion to consider approving the December 2017 financial reports.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
And that motion passes. Item number 8.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approving employment of the following personnel for the 2017-18 school year as recommended by the superintendent with compensation in accordance with board-approved schedules and retroactive to the first day of work pending verification of all credentials. Substitute teacher Audra Hatch.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 9.
Make a motion to consider approving the employment of Ryan Wolf, a supplemental contract for the 2017 through 18 school year as head basketball coach or baseball coach, as recommended by the superintendent with compensation in accordance with board-approved schedules.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, and that motion passes. Item number 10.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approving the employment of the following personnel as director, supervisor, or coach of a pupil activity for the 2017-18 school year as recommended by the superintendent with compensation in accordance to the board-approved schedules pending verification of all credentials. Head varsity softball coach Jerry Beltover.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
And that motion passes. Item number 11.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approving the following personnel as a volunteer for a pupil activity program for the 2017-18 school year as recommended by the superintendent, athletic department James Hartshorn.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, and that motion passes. Item number 12.
Make a motion to consider approving the 2018 annual Ohio School Boards Association membership dues, amount of $3,369.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 13.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approving the memorandum of understanding between the Columbiana Exempted Village Board of Education and the Columbiana Local Association of School Support included with this agenda.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 14.
I'd like to make a motion to consider approving a request for change of salary for Kendall Malsh from BA to MA.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Tonight, Mr. Hudson?
And yes, and that motion passes. Item number 15.
Make a motion to consider approving the grade 8 field trip to Washington, D.C. from May the 10th, 2018 through May 12th, 2018, which will include one school day itinerary provided with the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. Ronco?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
And that would be a yes, and that motion passes. That brings us to item number 16. Since I'm pinch hitting, I guess I get to say a few things, and I'll keep it very brief. Everybody will be happy with that. I want to thank everybody, staff that's sitting here and staff that's not here, for the great job that they do for the Columbiana school system. You know, what we've heard this evening from Tyler Best's, what I'll call webcasts or videos that are basically, you're definitely thinking outside the box. And I think you're helping parents who sometimes don't understand the math any better than their children do. And when you put it in front of them in such a way that all they have to do is look at their phone, I mean, I think that's fantastic. Josh Boone, I'm sure he put a lot of work into setting up the meetings, and the staff and administrators that have sat through the meetings on the website, all of which I think is going to help our system, you know, for years into the future. I think you should be commended for doing that. Mr. Miller, you know, the music program at this school has undergone a lot of change over the past few years. The recent changes are all for the better. He does a great job, and I think everything he does, he shows the enthusiasm he has for the kids, and that's who we're all here for. Speech and debate, what more can you say? Top 21%, top 100 in the country. That has to be better than any of the speech and debate programs anywhere around here. I have no statistics for that, but I'm just going to take a wild guess that it probably is. It's been something that has been a great program for years. One of my own children was in it a few years ago, and it was a good program then, and I think it's just gotten better and better over the years. And as far as the football team, that is an award that you don't think of for football players. And to see that type of an award, that shows that these kids care more or care as much about their grades as they do about the sport. And football's great, sports are great, but let's face it, what's going to get them further in the long run is their education, and the fact that they're taking it seriously enough to have a good grade point shows a lot, and I think it shows a lot from or for our staff, how much they care about the kids. So I think at this point, that's about all I'm going to say, except I should add Mandy Moore. It sounds like she does jack of all trades and is a right-hand person with Kim, and she definitely deserves the Key Clipper Award. So I'd like to thank everybody for all the work that they do. You guys certainly make our job a heck of a lot easier. You're the ones that perform, you and the students and the parents, I think, the support, and that's the difference between this district and a lot of districts, pretty much every district in a three-county area. So congratulations to all of you. End of my report. OSBA Legislative Liaison report. Legislative Liaison's not here, so no report. OSBA Student Achievement Liaison report. Again, I don't think we have a report. Columbiana County Career Center Board Member report. In view of the hour, I will not have a report this evening. I'd like to confirm the date of the next board meeting, February 13th, 2018 at 6 p.m. here in this very same room. Item 21. I'd like to consider an executive session in accordance with ORC 121.22 for the sole purpose of consideration of any of the following matters. They can be appointment, discipline, compensation, employment, promotion, dismissal, demotion, etc. And at this point, we are considering matters required to be kept confidential by federal law, as well as specialized details of security arrangements where disclosure of those matters discussed might reveal information that could be used for the purpose of committing or avoiding prosecution for a violation of law. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Karen.
Yes.
Mr. Roncone.
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes. We are in executive session.